everyone, welcome to DNA. Today our special guest is Dan Lee, and we are going to talk about what it's like to go to law school in US. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you so much, Yuji. Great to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
So Dan right now is a student at the world's best law school, Harvard Law School, right? Can I say it's the world's best?
You can, I suppose. I'm not sure. Some people might disagree with that.
But, all right, but you are about to graduate.
Yes, graduating in a few months. Got one more semester to go, so wrapping things up pretty shortly.
Awesome. Congratulations. I'm almost finishing your law school. It's been 3 years, right? Almost?
3 years. It's been a fast 3 years. Second go at school. I guess I have to be a real person coming up pretty soon, which I'm not looking forward to. But yeah, it's been 3 years. It's gone really fast, but it's been a lot of fun.
Let's go back to 3 years ago. Why did you want to go to law school?
I always knew that I wanted to go to professional school, and I had worked for a number of years before going back to law school. And for the longest time, I thought the plan was I should go to business school because I worked in management consulting for a little while. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized what I wanted out of a career was something that blended a little bit more of business and the law. And so I thought that going to law school would give me a great perspective on the legal aspect of deals and the legal aspect of business more generally. So that's why I ended up going to law school, trying to get a little bit more of that flavor. And then ultimately, what I'm trying to do is find something that fits that blend of both business and the law.
Great, awesome. And then you got into the world's best law school.
You can't keep saying that. I'm telling you, people are going to get very upset.
It's okay. They can get upset with me. You're not the one saying it.
Yeah.
So how's life there? How's life in the law school?
Let me tell you, life is great because after working for 4 years, going back to school is such a nice change. It is a nice adjustment. You have to work.
And you're telling me the truth.
I swear, I'm having a blast up here.
Okay, great. I've heard some memes about going to law school. Not so positive, but I will reserve it to later.
Well, I also sit here and say this as a third-year student. I've already gotten the hardest parts behind me.
I see.
So it's going pretty well now. But in general, being a student is nice. Besides class time, you're generally free to set your own schedule. You're not really beholden to a lot of other people. So it's nice to have that freedom. To set your schedule, do things as you want. And so I've really enjoyed that aspect of it.
But how busy is it at law school? Do you have to take a lot of courses across different type of laws?
So it's interesting the way it's set up. Your first year, I'm not sure if this is true across all law schools, but at least the way it works at Harvard is your first year there is, it's all required classes. So you don't get to pick really any of your classes with a few exceptions. So they just tell you what to take. And the other unique feature about the first year of law school is that you take many more classes than you do your following 2 years. So your workload is much more intense your first year of law school as compared to your second 2 years. So the first year it's a lot of work, and you're taking pretty much all of the basic law classes. So you're spanning the full gamut of anything you could think of in terms of learning something about the law. So your first year it's a lot of work, and you got to definitely put your nose to the grind and get the work done. But then, like I said, your second 2 years, you're free to take whatever class you want, whatever classes interest you in terms of specific areas of the law that you want to focus on or want to learn more about. And you don't have to take as many classes, which is nice. So you kind of have to work really hard the first year to get the reward of your second and third year.
Did you have to do a lot of reading?
Oh, a ton of reading. It's unfortunate because you do so much reading of textbooks. I mean, these textbooks are like this thick. They're ridiculous, and you have to read all of them for every class.
So I've heard that a law can take 100 pages to explain the reasoning of setting this law.
Yes, exactly. The law itself, the actual code is like this thick, and then the textbook is like this thick,
Wow.
explaining that law. Everybody's got a different opinion about what that means.
Do you really read all of them?
No, absolutely not. It's a hard skim a lot of the times.
I've also heard from people that one special skill that law school students will develop in law school is to be able to discuss the reading material without reading them.
Yes, yeah. I mean, especially your third year, when you're tired of school, sometimes you're just unprepared for class, and you kind of have to make it up on the fly and figure out what's going on.
Did you ever get caught that you were just making up?
Of course. It's part of the experience. You got to learn how to think on your feet when you're less than prepared, and you're better off for it at the end of the day.
Okay.
At least that's what we tell ourselves.
Have you done any internship yet?
Yes, so I've worked 2 years, both in New York City, so the 2 summers that I've had during law school. First year I was working in baseball, actually, in a baseball capacity, baseball legal capacity.
Wow, how cool is that?
Which was a lot of fun. You know me, I'm a big baseball fan, so to be able to take the legal aspect to baseball was really cool. And then last summer I worked at your typical big law firm in New York City.
Cool. So how was the internship experience? Was it a lot different between the two?
The between the two was a lot different. So the first one was, I'd say, much more relaxed. It was your typical 9 to 5 kind of internship where they weren't trying to work you too hard. They were just trying to get you the flavor of what it was like to work in the organization. And then last summer at the big law firm, what they were working you like you would be working as a first-year associate or second-year associate at the firm. So you worked, very hard, as most lawyers do. So it was a stark difference, but they were both a lot of fun and really valuable experiences.
Do you still remember before you applied to law school, I recommended you to watch the TV show Suits?
Yes.
Did you watch it?
It's funny. I didn't at the time, but I just started watching it maybe a month ago, and I love it.
You love it. Okay.
I love it.
And
who doesn't? I mean, who doesn't like
Do you feel it's close to the real world?
It is. Yes and no. It has some of the flavor of working for a big law firm. I mean, I have limited experience, so I can't really comment too much on it. I think the biggest creative license that Suits takes is the guy, Harvey, right, the partner. Mm-hmm. He's not your typical partner at a big law firm because in the show, he's doing everything, right? He'll show up and argue in court. He'll do criminal cases. Yeah. He'll sit there and close deals, right? That's his stick. He closes all the deals. In practice, lawyers are much more specialized. So if you want to go work for a big firm, you're going to be like a litigation partner. So then you're just the person that goes and argues in court. Or you're going to be a corporate partner, an M&A partner. So you specialize in just counseling on M&A deals and corporate matters. So you're not going to have somebody really that goes and argues in court one day and then goes and closes a deal the next day. That's generally not how it works. But a lot of the social dynamics, those seem right.
Oh, really? Like the office romance?
Well, I don't know. Hey, I don't know. I'm not here to comment on that.
Okay. So after being at law school for almost 3 years, what's your favorite part of law school?
My favorite part of law school has got to be all the people that I've met. It's been a great opportunity to meet a ton of different people. And the one real beauty of Harvard is there's almost 600 people in every class. So it's a huge law school. And they do such a good job finding people with such a diversity of backgrounds and a diversity of experiences. So it's great just to meet a ton of different people who have a lot of different, varied, and unique stories. Just to get to know them has been a real treat. A lot of people come straight from undergrad, so there's still a handful of people that haven't worked or who knew they wanted to be a lawyer from day one, so they come to law school straight from undergrad. You have people that have worked in business. You have people that have worked at law firms as paralegals, say, beforehand. And a lot of law school class is just discussing the law rather than learning the law. And so to have people with all these different backgrounds really makes for a better discussion.
And what is the most challenging part for you?
Well, learning the tax code was hard. Let me tell you, being a tax attorney does not seem like a lot of fun. Even though
is that your specialty?
No, absolutely not. No.
What is your specialty?
The plan is to be a corporate attorney, so specializing in corporate law.
Gotcha, but you have to learn tax law in your first year.
But you have to know a little bit about tax law to be an effective corporate attorney, unfortunately. but I think I'm going to have to call up some of my friends who want to be tax attorneys, really. I'd say the most challenging thing about law school, beyond just the typical workload and things that a lot of people complain about, I think it's tough sometimes not to be cynical about the law. And by that, I mean, you read opinions from judges where it seems like it's less about them trying to apply the law to a certain case and more about them having a goal in mind. They have, like, this is how this case should be resolved, and then they're going to go ahead and stretch the law a little bit to meet that end. And you see that as you study the law more, you see that happening more and more frequently. So sometimes it's very difficult to not be cynical about the law.
Do you have any advice for people who also want to go to law school?
The biggest advice I could give to somebody who's thinking about going to law school is to think hard about why they want to go to law school and what they want to do with their education afterwards. I think a lot of the times law school is kind of a fallback option for people. They're like, oh, I don't really know what I want to do in life. I think I'll just go and be a lawyer and then kind of figure it out while I'm there. Because, lawyers can do a whole bunch of different things. And while that's true, law school does open a lot of doors for you, especially if you put in the work and are successful. Being a lawyer is challenging. It requires a lot of work, and it requires a good deal of commitment to the law. And so for someone to go into it not having fully thought out what they want to do with it, I think they're going to be displeased with the results. So I think I would advise people to think really hard about what they want to do with the law and why they want to go. And once they have that figured out, I think the next biggest thing is to study hard for the LSAT. For better or for worse, the way most law schools operate is you need to have a certain score on the LSAT to be able to get into the school. So
all the law school students actually think they are super, super smart.
Well, clearly, you keep saying I go to the best law school in the world, so no, I'm just kidding. There's definitely some brilliant people at the law school, which is great, because it challenges you and pushes you to think in new and creative ways. So I don't view myself as super, super smart. I just feel very fortunate to be among people that are very smart.
You're very humble. I do view you as super, super smart.
well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Sometimes I'm not so smart. I promise you that. I guarantee you I'm not smart all the time, but maybe sometimes I can pull it out.
People think law school is like the Hunger Games. People will tell you you are privileged to be there, but after you're there, you will wonder why you volunteered to be the tribune.
I have heard this one as well, and law school can be, it attracts a certain type of personality. People in general are very competitive, and sometimes it can be very cutthroat for, the upper echelons of achievement at the school. So, there's this thing called law review, which everybody tries to get on, and so that can be very competitive. Wow. Everybody tries to get jobs at select places around the world. And so that can get very competitive. So I guess sometimes it's true, but it doesn't have to be. People are also very nice and very willing to help and share their experience to help you advance as well. So it's kind of what you make of it.
Thank you very much again, Dan, for joining us and share what it's like to go to law school. It is very helpful to help me demystify a lot of memes I had from social media.
It's my pleasure, Eugene. My pleasure.
Cool. And congratulations to you for almost graduating this summer.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just a few more months to go.
Go to law school is definitely not easy, and practicing in law is even harder. So good luck to all the law school students out there and whoever wants to apply to the law school in the future. If you have any questions regarding what it's like to go to law school and want to ask more stories from Dan, feel free to leave your comments and questions in our page and channel. Let's do this tradition together. What it's like to go to law school in US. DNA,
DNA
get.